right, Damian Lillard finally did it. He requested a trade from the Portland Trailblazers, and his 10-plus career in Portland is going to be over. We're finally going to see Dame part ways from the franchise he's been since day one, since he was a rookie. So yeah, let's unpack this. Let's address the scenarios that he could end up in, maybe some sleeper teams that can kind of swoop in and maybe give the Trailblazers a really enticing offer. So yeah, he's come out and said Miami and Brooklyn are his preferred destinations. So could Dame end up in a team that was just in the NBA Finals that probably doesn't have to trade their top two guys in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, because they have Tyler Hero that could be in this package? Now, I don't know if Portland would want Tyler Hero in a return because they have Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe, and they just drafted Scoot Henderson, so they have a lot of minutes to distribute to their young guards already. So maybe they'd like to kind of outsource Tyler Hero in a 3-team trade. Now, what team would be interested in Tyler Hero? I'm not really sure. Like, would Toronto be interested? Would Chicago be interested? Like, these teams that are kind of on the fringe that can use Hero to leverage them to maybe be a 6th or 5 seed instead of like a 7, 8, or 9 seed. I thought maybe Washington would be interested before they got Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma back, but probably not anymore. Could Dallas get in on that? San Antonio maybe? So I think like if Tyler Hero is involved in a Heat trade, well, he definitely would be involved, but if he doesn't go to Portland, Portland would probably try to get another young piece for Hero, or at least a draft pick or 2 in return. Maybe the Pelicans would be interested in Tyler Hero. Then we end up seeing like CJ McCollum back in Portland. That would be funny. Because yeah, you're probably going to see either like Kyle Lowry and or Hero, or it's either going to be definitely Tyler Hero, and then maybe Kyle Lowry's in this as well. Like, hey, if Miami could actually get a 3-team trade done and get CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard in Miami, that'd be sick. And then like Lowry goes to Portland, buyout there, and they get maybe a pick or 2 from the Pelicans, and the Pelicans end up with Tyler Hero. That would be kind of sick, right? If we just saw Dame and CJ from their Portland days over in Miami, but pair them up with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. Okay, now I'm going to talk myself into that, because that actually sounds pretty interesting. And yeah, Miami drafted Jaime Jaquez. I would assume they would want to keep Jaquez, and I don't even know if Portland would be interested in Jaime, because he's a little bit older. He was a senior coming out of UCLA. He's NBA ready and can help a team win now. And Portland did that at the end of the first round with Chris Murray, but I don't even know if they would want Jaime Jaquez. Yeah, so maybe Miami, maybe that was like a 200 IQ move from Miami, knowing if they draft Jaquez, Portland really wouldn't want him, so they can keep Jaquez in here. It's probably like a Nikola Jovic, Tyler Hero, in every single pick or swap that Miami could trade. So if I had to make a guess, I think Miami would be probably the most likely. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, they're going to get it done. They're going to get Dame to form a big 3 in Miami. And then that leaves us with Brooklyn at number 2, and I don't think Brooklyn should do this. So Brooklyn, if they were to offer a trade, I'm sure Mikal Bridges is off limits. Now, they have all those Suns picks in swaps from the Kevin Durant trade, and they don't own any of their first-round picks for the next 3 years. It goes into some swaps or to some just outright, like, Houston owns their picks from the James Harden trade back in 2021. So, could Brooklyn be like, you know what? We can't be bad because we don't have our draft picks. We have Mikal Bridges, who's entering his prime and could be a number 2 to Damian Lillard and is one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. Do we give up most of those Suns picks? Not all of them, because Kevin Durant should be worth more than Lillard, so you shouldn't have to give up all those picks. And then do you end up doing no, because you'd want to keep Cam Johnson. What is like the main piece going back? Like, what's the Tyler Hero piece going back? Is it Nick Claxton? I don't know, because Portland could end up getting Noah Clowney here. They could end up getting Dariq Whitehead as well, and that's just 2 more young assets going over there, and they should definitely call about Dariq Whitehead, because I would love him there in Portland as a spot-up shooter. But yeah, him next to Dame would be great. But yeah, Cam Johnson just signed. I would assume Brooklyn would want to hold on to him and Mikal Bridges. Yeah, I mean, if Portland could really leverage Claxton, and the Nets, while Claxton was a great young defender, he may ask for north of $30 million next year, and I don't know if Portland wants to do that. And it's funny, because like Jeremy Grant just got paid $32 million a year for the next 5 years, and I believe we're in the moratorium phase, so I don't know if anything's locked in yet. And maybe Portland would want like Cam Thomas in return. They don't have like too many forwards there, but yeah, like Noah Clowney could come back, or Dariq Whitehead. So yeah, they could offer all those Suns picks. They could offer the 2 players that they just drafted, and Dariq Whitehead and Noah Clowney. And then maybe Portland, because they're going to have to take some money back, would be interested in like a Spencer Dinwiddie or like a Royce O'Neal type player that they could eventually flip. Now, Brooklyn already traded Joe Harris to Detroit, so he couldn't be in that trade. But yeah, I feel like like that Portland could look for just like a veteran that they could maybe end up flipping for a protected first round pick or something of value at the trade deadline. So if I had to say what's more likely, I would say it's Miami, just because I feel like Dame would prefer to go there. And I don't know though, because Miami is always good. So do those draft picks mean much? But if there could be a 3-team trade involved and Portland can get even more draft capital for Damian Lillard, and it turns out to be 4 to 5 unprotected first, if like a team gets involved in here on a 3-teamer and some swaps, I'd probably value that over the Suns picks as well. So I would say Miami is probably the favorite. Brooklyn right behind. I don't know if Brooklyn should do it because, I mean, I guess say you keep Claxton and Cam Johnson. Does Dame, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and Claxton get you anywhere in the East? I mean, yeah, maybe. I would still say Boston's better. I would still maybe even say Miami and Milwaukee are better, and Cleveland could be better as well. So I don't know if the Nets should go all in unless they can really keep most of their core in this trade, because obviously they're not doing this trade involving Mikal Bridges. But yeah, could Cam Johnson be on the table? I'm sure Portland would want Cam Johnson. $27 million a year for one of the best shooting forwards in the league. And yes, Shams just tweeted out that Miami is his preferred destination. So I think that's what's likely. Yeah, I don't think Portland wants Tyler Hero because, like I mentioned before, you have Shaedon Sharpe and you have Anthony Simons already. And Hero could be a small forward. And yeah, maybe you hold on to Hero and then a team wants him at the deadline and you can get something for him. Then a sleeper team that I did want to mention was the Philadelphia 76ers. If they're like, you know what, Harden, what if we get Dame? What if we did like a Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey deal and we formed a big three of Damian Lillard, James Harden, and Joel Embiid? Now, I wouldn't say that's super like out of the ordinary, like unrealistic. I mean, that could happen. Do I think that could win a championship in the Eastern Conference or at least go to the NBA Finals? Yeah. Could I think that could win an NBA Finals? You really would get the right role players and complementary pieces around them. Sure. But I don't think that's going to happen. I do think that Damian Lillard is probably going to end up as a Miami Heat. And I love this for Portland, man. Like, it's a win-win for Dame. Dame gets to go to a contender where he can actually win, and we get to see Dame in like the conference finals again or just playing meaningful playoff games. And for Portland, now I hate the Jeremy Grant signing. Hopefully you can go back on that and move Jusuf Nurkic, but now you can rebuild properly and have a much brighter future, something Orlando has done as of late, or Utah. Hit the reset button, and in 2 to 3 years, your future is going to look so much brighter. Washington just did it this offseason. Like I said, those 3 guards you get to build around. You also have Chris Murray, who you just drafted, who could be a nice complementary piece as well. You're going to get a top pick in the 2024 draft. Maybe you end up with a Ron Holland, a Montes Buzuelos. Maybe you end up probably not with another guard, so maybe one of those guys, or Justin Edwards out of Kentucky, add another forward to that bunch, because it's definitely a forward heavy draft and big man as well. Because it's probably like 2 to 3 guards, but we'll see how the draft turns out over the next year. And yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I think this is going to be so much more exciting for Portland. I'm so excited to see the return they get and do like videos on that and how their future is going to look, because it's going to be a bright future. They're not going to be good next year by any means, and you don't want to be good. Let Scoot develop, let Shaedon Sharpe develop. Hey, even if you don't think Anthony Simons is like the long-term answer and you like Shaedon Sharpe more, Anthony Simons is going to ball out this year with way more touches and probably the #1 scoring option. Boom. You can end up trading him in the offseason next year for probably great value as well. So I would love to hear what you guys all think about this Damian Lillard trade request. It's looking like he might end up in Miami, so I'll see you guys next when maybe that trade happens. I'm sure there's going to be a 3-team trade because I don't know if Portland, it doesn't seem like they want Tyler Hero, but hey, maybe they take a chance on him. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think he ends up in Miami? What do you think the return is going to be? Please let me know. I'd love to hear that and what you guys got to say in the comments. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.